After 3 days, the location of a mysterious new gate was finally revealed, but what appeared to be an ordinary C-rank dungeon quickly turned into something far more dangerous. A team of hunters had already entered the gate nearly 2 hours earlier, unaware that they were walking directly into a deadly trap. When the authorities realized what was happening, they immediately ordered the raid to be stopped. According to the measurements, the gate was only C rank, but something about it was completely wrong. The strike team was in serious danger, and if nobody intervened, every hunter inside could lose their life. That was when Jin-Woo arrived. As one of the most powerful hunters alive, he immediately understood that this was not a normal dungeon. He entered the dangerous area and eventually found the hunters trapped before a massive sealed door. Their spells could not even scratch its surface. The door was connected to a mysterious place known as the Kaltenon Temple, and nobody understood how to open it. Jin-Woo recognized the situation almost immediately. He had survived something similar before, and he knew exactly how terrifying a double dungeon could be. The other hunters were shocked when they realized who was standing before them. They had heard countless stories about Jin-Woo, the S-rank hunter who had survived impossible situations. Jin-Woo warned them that terrible danger waited beyond the door and ordered them to leave immediately. However, some members of the Courage Guild refused. They had purchased the entry permit and believed they had every right to continue the raid. Jin-Woo did not waste time arguing. Instead, he told them that anyone who wanted to enter was free to do so, but he would no longer protect them from the consequences. He then used the mysterious key connected to the temple and opened the sealed entrance with ease. The hunters were stunned. The same door they had been unable to open suddenly responded to Jin-Woo. As he stepped inside, he warned the others once again that the danger would only become worse. He instructed them to escape the dungeon and immediately informed their association that a double dungeon had appeared. Jin-Woo continued deeper into the temple alone. With every step, memories returned to him. This was the very place where he had once come close to death, the place where his extraordinary powers had begun. Now he had returned, stronger than ever, determined to uncover the truth behind the mysterious system and the power that had changed his life forever. Deep inside the temple, Jin-Woo discovered that the strange statues surrounding him were not ordinary monsters. They were neither living creatures nor magical beasts. They were puppets controlled by another presence hidden somewhere within the chamber. Jin-Woo could sense only one source of mana, and he immediately realized that whoever was controlling the statues was watching him. He demanded answers, but instead of receiving an explanation, he heard a familiar voice. The mysterious being welcomed him and acknowledged that Jin-Woo had finally returned. Outside the dungeon, the world was facing another crisis. A powerful hunter named Yuri Orlov was preparing to seal a dangerous gate. He explained that his method involved creating a massive magic circle around the gate and feeding it enormous amounts of mana. Once activated, the barrier would continue absorbing mana from surrounding crystals until it became strong enough to form an almost impenetrable wall. His plans sounded impressive, but nobody knew whether it would truly be enough to contain an S-rank gate. Meanwhile, reports about Jin-Woo's activities continued to spread. His growing strength had become impossible to ignore. His newly established guild was already powerful enough to challenge major guilds, and he had begun requesting permits to raid multiple gates throughout Seoul. Other guilds were becoming nervous because several of the gates were located in territories under their control. Despite the political tension, Jin-Woo continued moving according to his own plans. He knew that something much larger was approaching. Then another shocking report arrived. A gate had appeared inside the grounds of a school that had previously been attacked by orcs. Worse, a double dungeon had been discovered within that gate, and Jin-Woo had already entered it. Inside the temple, he finally confronted the mysterious being responsible for the entire ordeal. Jin-Woo calmly asked whether the creature was a magical beast, but the answer was unexpected. The being told him that he was asking the wrong question. Instead of asking who the mysterious creature was, Jin-Woo needed to ask himself who he truly was. The words carried a deeper meaning. hinting that Jin-Woo's existence was connected to something far beyond an ordinary hunter. The mysterious figure then announced that this would be Jin-Woo's final test. If he could remain standing until the test ended, he would finally receive the answers he had been searching for. But there would be no shortcuts. Jin-Woo's special job skills were forbidden. His servants could not participate. He could no longer purchase potions or items from the shop, and even quest rewards and level-up rewards could not be used for instant recovery. Most importantly, he was forbidden from leaving the room until the final test was complete. For the first time, Jin-Woo realized that the system had deliberately removed almost every advantage he possessed. Jin-Woo looked around the chamber and understood what the final test demanded from him. Almost every advantage he had relied upon was now useless. His special skills were restricted, his recovery methods were blocked, and his powerful servants were excluded from the battle. The mysterious being wanted to see what Jin-Woo could accomplish using nothing but his own physical strength, instincts, and determination. Instead of becoming frightened, however, Jin-Woo accepted the challenge. He had already survived situations that should have been impossible for a human being. He had entered countless gates, defeated powerful monsters, and repeatedly stood on the edge of death. This time would be no different. The statues suddenly began attacking him. Their movements were incredibly fast, and only moments earlier they had seemed almost impossible to track. Jin-Woo remembered how these statues had once appeared to teleport around the battlefield. But now, after everything he had experienced and the enormous growth he had achieved, he could follow their movements. One statue attacked. Jin-Woo dodged. Another followed. He countered. Then another came from behind, but Jin-Woo had already predicted its movement. He began counting each enemy as he defeated them. 1, 2, 3. The statues were individually powerful, but Jin-Woo's physical abilities had reached a completely different level. The mysterious being watched him carefully, clearly impressed by his performance. It acknowledged that Jin-Woo had achieved an extraordinary amount while still possessing a human body. His growth had exceeded every expectation. The being had been waiting for this exact moment, and now it could finally see how far Jin-Woo had progressed. Yet the test was nowhere near finished. The creatures continued attacking from every direction, forcing Jin-Woo to remain focused. He knew that the purpose of the battle was not simply to defeat a group of statues. The true objective was to determine whether he was worthy of learning the truth. Jin-Woo had spent so long wondering about the origin of his powers, the meaning of the system, and the mysterious forces that had guided his evolution. Now, for the first time, he was standing directly before the being that seemed to know all the answers. But before those answers could be revealed, Jin-Woo had to survive the final challenge. The mysterious voice once again filled the chamber and announced that it was time to worship the god. Jin-Woo stood ready, surrounded by the remnants of his enemies, refusing to surrender. Whatever waited beyond this final test could change everything. The truth about his powers, his destiny, and the strange system that had transformed him was finally within reach. But first, he would have to prove that he was strong enough to face the truth.